Since we all want to return home after visiting a place, in addition to enjoying it, safety is one of the factors that must be considered while arranging a vacation. To be a responsible traveler, one of the first considerations you must make is to familiarize yourself with your destination and any potential risks therein so that you can foresee and mitigate them. Knowing the list of the world's safest nations is one way to select the perfect vacation spot. In this video, we've listed the 10 countries to live in the globe today. But first, please like and subscribe to this channel, and then sit back and relax. 10. Cook Islands. It is the first time that this country has entered the list, which it achieves thanks to the fact that New Zealand lost places due to an increase in robberies in tourist areas. The Cook Islands becomes the only non-European country in the 2023 Safe Countries ranking, and it does so thanks to one of the lowest crime rates in the world. The country has some of the most beautiful beaches in the world and is a great place for adventure tourism or ecotourism. On the cultural side, you have the chance to learn about Polynesian traditions in its cities and towns. The islands are not higher on the list due to their health infrastructure not being compared to that of European countries, and the possibility of having accidents due to changes in the tide if you swim too far out in the ocean. But both are problems that you can avoid it with basic precautions and by covering yourself with travel insurance. 9. Monaco. Almost all the small countries in Europe are among the safest in the world, but this year Monaco makes an appearance for the first time, finally meeting the safety standards of its neighbors. The city-state in the south of France is famous as one of the most famous places in the world, as well as for its casinos and its Riviera. Culture and luxury are the main magnets for the country, but it tries to diversify within what its geography allows. With hiking trails, Monaco is so safe that it is the only country in the world for which the United States does not issue travel advice. Its disadvantage compared to others is that being in a more touristy area and closely linked to France, it inherits some of the common problems in areas very crowded. 8. Luxembourg. This duchy is usually left aside by travelers, as it is nestled between France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. However, it is the most prosperous and safest nation in the region, with risk indices rated as negligible. Its high standards of living benefit not only its inhabitants but also the travelers who visit it, since all public transport is free and safe. Cathedrals, palaces, medieval bridges, and castles await travelers who venture to this fairy tale country, where you would never imagine being so close to Paris or the capital of the European Union. 7. Finland. The top 10 safest countries are dominated by Europe, and specifically, the north of the continent is the region with the least risks in the entire world. Finland may be the least known country in the region, but it offers visitors natural attractions in its forests and lakes, as well as being one of the places with the best heavy rock bands in the world, offering a great contrast for all tastes. It had an important promotion since last year. It was in 10th position, and its main problem is political rather than security. Since being a neighbor of Russia and seeking to join NATO, it lost points in the Global Peace Index. Finland also boasts of being the happiest place in the world, according to the latest report of 2022. 6. Switzerland. Switzerland was not on the list last year, but in 2023 it returns with force, getting into 6th position and taking out its neighbor Austria, which lost its place. The return of the Swiss nation instead of the Austrians is because they managed to maintain the perfect rating on the travel risk map as a country with negligible risk. While their neighbors went to a yellow light, low risk, it is a minimal difference, but it means the difference between being there and not being there, as also happened with Norway and New Zealand. Switzerland is famous for its cheeses and chocolates, as well as its alpine landscapes where you can ski in the winter or hike in the summer, with options like the world's longest suspension bridge. In Switzerland, safety warnings are generic, and you are more at risk of an avalanche than robbery or violent crime. 5. Slovenia. Another country that returns to the list after being absent last year is Slovenia, an example of peace in the Balkans that is still seen as conflicted in some areas. Slovenia became independent without much problem after a brief 10-day conflict in 1991, and since then it has been an example of peace, well-being, and security. Although it had a decrease in the Global Peace Index, This year it got all the governments consulted to mark it as a country practically devoid of risks, and it raised its security level for international SOS. In addition to being an example of peace, Slovenia has in its capital, Ljubljana, one of the most beautiful cities in Europe, and they are considered one of the greenest destinations in the old continent with great options for cycling in its national parks. 4. Andorra. Being a micronation that doesn't mess with anyone and gives its inhabitants a great standard of living is how several destinations join the best countries in terms of security. And this is the case of Andorra. The country, nestled in the Pyrenees, is the only Iberian nation on the list, and this year it rises on the list as it remains a place with very few problems in a world where peace is receding. In Andorra, you can understand each other perfectly in Spanish, French, or Catalan. In winter, it is a snow destination for skiing, and in summer one for hiking in the mountains and discovering its medieval villages. 3. Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is such a small country that it is possible to cycle from end to end, and it may well be considered the most peaceful in the world. All embassies agree in naming it one of the safest countries to travel to. Located between two other countries that stand out for their stability, it has Vaduz, its capital, the base to explore its territory, where you can go from visiting alpine villages to skiing. Most of the warnings are focused on reminding you of safety measures if you plan to drive in snowy winter weather. 2. San Marino. San Marino remains the safest small country in the world. A small nation of medieval origin nestled in Italy not only has the highest levels of security, but also postcard cities that those who dare to visit the country fall in love with. San Marino has never been the slightest risk to travelers, and the calm is so calm that the direst warning offered by the UK government is that drinks may be stronger than those served in other countries. For tourists, the country is famous for its medieval towns spread over several hills, and it is also a famous place for collectors for the postage stamps it offers for those who practice filigree. But the safest place in the world is further north in Europe itself. 1. Iceland. The safest country in the world in 2023 is Iceland, which remains at the top for the 4th consecutive year. This nation, located north of the Atlantic Ocean, usually dominates the indices year after year without anyone removing it from the top spot on the list, which it endorses for 2023. In Iceland, you can enjoy dramatic landscapes and hot springs as a result of its volcanic activity, which makes this island bigger year after year. Nature makes it an ideal destination for sustainable tourism, and you can choose between staying in its capital, Reykjavik, or doing a road trip around the island. You can also get to know the volcanic formation of the country on the islands near Surtsey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, the subscription button, and the notification bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded from this channel. Please share your thoughts about the 10 safest countries in the world that you should live in the comment section below. Thank you.